What is up, beautiful people? Happy Friday, everybody's favorite day of the week. Why? Not because it's the last day of the work week. No, because you get to come join us again, our new favorite crew for the third week in a row, right? So yeah, new crew with everybody. So got Amy and Brian back today. Vibes just keep getting higher for this team, right? So another good week, another win on the books. This week we were playing Red Bull New York. I about said the wrong team there, but yeah, Red Bull New York. A 1-0 victory this week. That is the third straight 1-0 victory, fourth straight Kahlina sheet, as I'm going to go ahead and trademark if it hasn't been done. So 4 straight Kahlina sheets for the team. Yeah, I mean, in getting into the actual recap piece of the game, I thought we started very well. This was obviously Toffolo's first game. Him and Zaha on the left in that first half were looking great, right? I mean, they were back and forth passes. I made a concerted effort to really watch Toffolo for a lot of that first half, and I thought his movements, his defense, knowing where to be was fantastic. Unfortunately, got some injury news on him, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So he wasn't able to play the second half, and didn't think the second half went super great for Charlotte. It was definitely kind of, hanging on, white knuckled type, in there. Just kind of lost their balance, their way. But as good teams do, they kept them out. They never gave them a shot or a real great shot. And any of them they did. Of course, Kahlina was there to get it saved. Special shout out though to Gianni. He did step into the starting lineup, and I thought he stood out. Honestly, I thought he was one of our best players on the field. I've kind of maligned him a little bit this year. Not that he's been terrible, but he seems to be a little bit inconsistent when he comes in. He's either that really good player or that really bad, and a lot of times it's both within the same game. I felt like he was consistently great in this game, kind of controlling that, box-to-box midfield position.
For me, he was a man of the match.
Yeah.
I know they gave it to Malanda probably for sentimental reasons, but
sure.
For me, it was Gianni.
Yeah, he easily could have won it, and I'll probably agree with you. I think for 90 minutes, he was consistent at what he was doing, so wanted to definitely at least shout him out, if nothing else. But like I said, another 1-0 victory, third straight. That is now 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like I told you guys, I'm going to be counting on my toes here in a little bit. Y'all going to be seeing my toes in a couple of weeks here. But 7 straight victories. Obviously, that is the most in history for Charlotte, as it was last week when it was 6 in a row, right? So we're just going to keep adding on to that. Guys, kind of throw it in there, but any other thoughts that you have?
Yeah, I thought it was kind of a vintage 2024 Charlotte FC performance. Yeah. I mean, it felt like, we defended well again. I think we've only given up like 3 goals in the past 7 games. So We've been on it defensively. I didn't think Brandt was great in the game. That was a game that was calling for Pep Biel. I thought we really missed him in that game for his offensive awareness and being able to get in those pockets of space. But overall, great performance. Another clean sheet. Let's keep it rolling.
Absolutely.
I would say another standout player to me was Zaha. His the way he just played, like he had a fire. I mean, he always has fire in his eye. He's a little scary, but I mean, I think that's just him. But his it was like he was just on a whole nother level. I think he knew their physicality was going to be key, and I think he was ready to match it and was like, okay, bring it.
Yes.
And I just thought he was one of those like a silent difference maker. With what he played, and then the Toffolo Zaha connection. I mean, we only got to see a little bit of it, unfortunately, because of the injury, but that right there is going to be something sweet to see. I mean, it kind of still gives me goosebumps.
I was going to say my hair literally started standing up when he said it. I was
So he was a standout. I was a little upset to see Vargas with the start because I thought Abada had played so well that previous game. But kudos to Vargas. I mean, he thankfully found the back of the net first. And for him, I mean, he smashed it. And we know Vargas typically in the past, his smashes don't necessarily end up in the back of the net. So, and it was funny, his little presser, when they asked him about it, even though it was in Spanish, you could just tell he was kind of laughing about the fact, like, yeah, I actually got this one in the goal this time. So kudos to him. I mean, Vargas scoring is always just a highlight, seeing the flip and everything. So I think we're just in a really great groove and an exciting time to be a Charlotte FC fan. For once, a fun Charlotte team to watch as far as sports.
I'm telling you what, I've been obviously talking to everybody that will listen about, watch this team, right? This has got to be the most exciting Charlotte team, regardless of sport, that we've seen at least since the Panthers back in 10 years ago.
Right.
So I think
been a weird season, right? I mean, we started off on fire.
Yeah, first
Seems like
place through 2
Yeah.
months,
Yeah,
and
three
then
seasons in one, maybe.
yeah, it kind of is. And I mean, you always have your ups and downs, your doldrums, however you want to say it, right, within a season. But ours do seem quite a bit extreme this year, from first place in the first 2 months to 10th place, losing I don't even know how many in a row, and then right back up to winning 7 in a row. But some of that was growing pains, right, throughout the season. We obviously had some injuries during that time, played a ton of road games, and obviously the team was still kind of getting acclimated. We see them working together now, right, consistently. Like I remember starting off the season when we started doing the show, and the one thing I had said, hey, the one thing you can take to the bank, no pun intended, is that Charlotte is going to be organized, right, and especially at the back. And we kind of lost our way there for those 2 months when it was struggling. They, just uncharacteristic mistakes, but the gameplay, the tactics that Dean Smith consistently puts out is a winning formula. We have seen that, it's proven, and I think they just needed to really work through that right throughout the season. And of course, what we see now is fantastic. I mean, 4 straight clean sheets. Not going to lose if you don't give up a goal. That's just a fact. So,
right. Worst
like
you're going to do is tie.
exactly.
I would just add during that whole period of when we were losing, I don't really think we were playing that different than we are right now as a team. If you look
I
at
agree.
the team,
Yeah.
like you said, tactics are the same, formations. I think the injuries are what hurt us. But I also think it was just all those individual mistakes. I mean, now that you've taken those individual mistakes out, you see the quality that's there. And I think we probably lost some games we should have won during that time.
100%.
And I think maybe here in this winning streak, we've maybe gotten a little lucky and won some games when we didn't quite play to the caliber that we know we're capable of playing.
Sure.
So I think that will help make us stronger. And I think the guys realize that adversity, even though it wasn't maybe as bad as some people thought it was, it kind of is now going to help them as they continue to propel into the playoffs.
Definitely had to build up some character through those times. And like I said, you're going to learn through mistakes, right? I mean, that's usually your best teacher is failure a lot of times. And so hopefully, or at least it seems like they have certainly learned and gotten past that. And I mean, you can't talk about the run. I mean, 7 straight, obviously looking to make it 8 straight again this week. So kind of putting a bow on that, as I like to say on pretty much every episode, right? We'll move that right into the news for the week, which there is a ton of this week, guys. Just a busy time of the season, so I'll kind of kick it off here for us. First, a big congratulations to the team. So 16 wins, I believe, is where we're at. That is the most in club history, right? So that is fantastic news. Obviously, still got a whole month and a half to play. I guess only 6 or 7 games, right? So we can definitely top that. But great job for the team there. Some not so great news, as I kind of mentioned, right? Topolo played great in that first half, but unfortunately, right before half went off with a hamstring injury. That's all we know. I was really hoping that we would get some updates prior to today. We're filming again on Wednesday. Dean usually has his press conference on Thursday, so probably just a day late for that information. Obviously, we're just hoping it's not for long, right? What we saw from him and Zaha controlling that left side was great, so we want to keep them in there if we can help it, but we will see.
One thing that kind of annoyed me about that was he came off literally in stoppage time.
Yeah.
And I was like, why are we using the sub window? Why can't we just wait till halftime?
That I didn't even think about that.
It all works out.
Yeah, it did work out, kind of. I didn't love Marshall Ruddy in the second half. It was a stark difference, at least defensively, but another story for another day if we have to get there. Hopefully we don't. So Topolo injured. Better news on the injury front, though. We hadn't heard the name Pep Biel in a while. Obviously, our most influential player. In Dean's last press conference, he said he was back to about 70%. He is running right now. He feels pretty confident that he will be ready for the Miami game in 3 weeks? Is that right? Or 2 weeks? 3, something like that?
September 13th.
September 13th for everybody. Yeah, you can do the math whenever you're watching this, I guess. But obviously that's great news. The only drawback we can say from the last couple of weeks is the offense has obviously taken a step back to what we saw, middle of June, July or whatever, right? And we know why, right? It's not anything different other than, having Pep Biel out there. So him returning specifically for the Miami game would be great news. Amy?
So continuing on our upward trajectory of our news getting better, if you haven't gone to a Crown Legacy match, you need to go out to Matthews Sportsplex. Check it out. The team's on kind of they're also kind of getting it together, getting their groove. It's super affordable, great family atmosphere. You get to see a lot of these guys. If they're not getting a lot of time on the first team, sometimes they get time on the legacy team, and you get to see a lot of these young guys. They also had a historic event happen at the game. When Crown Legacy played Inter Miami 2, obviously they spent all their money on
the first team
because they won 6-0, 6-0. And in that, Berkeymas, shout out to Nympha, he scored the first hattie for Crown Legacy. That was not the first hat trick in history for Crown Legacy. So shout out to him. And what made that even more exciting was he did it in the second half.
Yeah, he didn't even need a half. He's like, I'll spot you guys the first half.
And they were actually only up 1-0 at halftime, so it was a melee of goal scoring in the second half. And Nympha also got called up to the U17 U.S. men's national team. So kudos to Berkeymas. Great week of soccer for him. Bay Koulibaly also was called up to the Charlotte first team. He plays a number 6, so we got more of a defensive midfielder. So hopefully we can see him on the pitch to help get some of our midfield backup, give them some time out there so that we have some more depth in that position, especially on the first team. So
more legs. We've been calling for more midfielders, and it sounds like instead of just getting one, we decided, hey, we'll call
give him
one
a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. So
kudos to him as well.
Yeah, that's another one of the signing stash players on Crown Legacy.
Yeah.
So that strategy seems to be paying off. I know they signed him last year for a pretty high fee, and then he's played on Legacy this year, so that's exciting. A couple of other men's national team call-ups. Marshall Ruddy was called up to the Canadian men's national team.
Oh, Canada. Way to go, Marshall.
And then our old buddy Tim Ream was called up to the U.S. men's national team as well. This particular U.S. men's national team is primarily players from Europe that are coming back. Not a lot of MLS players. But,
he was probably the first name on that sheet too. The way he's been playing, to be honest.
Yeah, he's been great. Yeah. He's been great. So the international window will not impact the Charlotte FC game. Our next,
we hope. Yeah.
Barring any injuries to any players, I think that would be the only impact. There's no Charlotte FC games during the international window, and then the players that have been called up for Charlotte FC play the Tuesday prior to the Miami game. So that's good. They should be back and plenty of time to play on Saturday. Also, I'm sure Messi will be in an international break as well, playing for Argentina.
Yep.
I know they play Ecuador that same Tuesday, so I wonder a little bit if that's why Messi's kind of been sitting out recently. But
they've had those midweek League Cup games.
Oh, so interesting to see if he plays tonight. I think there's a League Cup game tonight.
There are.
So good news there. It's always fun to see our players getting called up to the national teams.
Absolutely. Huge news there. Yeah, so a bunch of call-ups, and obviously Bay Koulibaly getting called up to us. Maybe Berkeymas will be next if he continues to score those hatties. So any other news?
Yeah, the other news is that Zoran Kaneda, our sporting director, announced this week that we're going with the 2 DP slots and 4 U22 initiative slots as our strategy. You have to claim that at a certain point after the transfer window instead of 3 DP spots and 3 U22 initiative players. So we're only locked into that until the end of the year. So depending on what happens with Pep Biel, if he becomes a DP player at the end of the year, maybe we switch back to the 3-3 versus the 4-2.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. And the reason why this is important, right? I mean, I've brought up many times on this show before, right? Roster construct in the MLS is very difficult to navigate or just understand, let alone navigate, right? And so essentially what we're saying, or what the MLS kind of restricts you to, is, again, there's 6 total spots that don't count toward your salary cap. And it's you either have to be a U22 initiative, which means you have to be under the age of 22, I assume, when you sign in throughout, right, to continue that. And then 2 or 3 DP spots as well, which is a designated player, meaning that you spent more than $1.5 million on them in total wages, purchase fees, all that kind of stuff, right? And so for us going with the 4 U22s and 2 DPs, not going to affect us this year because of Pep Biel and the contract situation that he has. But I think obviously this does become a pretty big talking point in the offseason, because we do the math, we add Pep Biel in there, we assume he's going to get a contract that is going to be worth better, that is going to be worth a DP spot. And so that all of a sudden becomes 7 players for 6 spots, right? So that's why that's important. Obviously, we still want to focus on this year. Let's finish this year great, strong. Let's go win a cup, right? But going into next year, do you have any thoughts on what that could mean? Any players that we think could be gone?
Well, I think maybe our good friend Pekovic
I
might
think he's
be
the
on the
first
chopping
option.
block.
Yeah.
So, I mean, not that he hasn't been great, but we don't really know a lot of. I mean, he's played some for Crown Legacy, probably more for Crown Legacy than he has the first team. He's been on the team the last couple of weeks on the first team, but we haven't seen him a whole lot, and he's just not really knocking my socks off. So, for us to be paying them the money we are, I'm not sure what we are, but I think we're paying him a decent amount of money. Yeah. That also might be my own personal
I was saying that was the nicest
opinion.
thing I've heard Amy say about him off camera, by the way,
Right.
guys. So
But
yeah.
so he might go. I think maybe we can do something. Maybe Abada becomes something different, in his where he fits in. I wouldn't want him to necessarily leave because I think he does give us value. I don't think we've seen the 8 million or whatever we were paying him value at
No.
yet. But so I think that might be some things. But the roster construct, I don't understand it. The gaffer doesn't understand it. It's a good thing we have good old Zerwin to
Yeah.
figure it out for us, and he seems to be doing
his
a
thing.
pretty good job. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll be curious. I think they'll probably go back to the three DPs and three
I agree.
U22 initiatives. I'd be surprised, along with you, if we see Abada back or Pekovic.
You think both?
Yeah, I think there might be two open spots: a U22 spot as well as a. Well, I guess they're both U22 initiative players. So
No, I think
Not
Abada is DP.
Abada is DP.
Yeah, so
Okay.
yeah, he would be a DP. Because he's 23. Yep. So,
Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see Abada stay around. He just defensively, I think he's a liability.
Clearly.
He does come in off the bench and makes an impact, but I'm not sure if we want our DP slot to be a bench player. So hopefully, he comes into his own. I want him to do well. I like him, and
I think we all do. Yeah,
yeah.
he seems to have a good attitude no matter what. I mean, but yeah, he just and those are certainly the two players that would be on the chopping block, right? I don't think any of the others are even close or remotely thought of. So yeah, to me it was the same thing, right? Those two players, either Nikola Pekovic or Liel Abada. And yeah, I mean, yeah, part of me wants Abada to stay. I've said it all year. He is my sour, sweet, or whatever. What's that candy called? This first it's sour, then it's sweet. Sour Patch Kid.
Yes.
He's my Sour Patch Kid, right? So he comes in and does something that makes you go, wow, like this guy can really have an impact on this team with his speed, his directiveness, right? He has all of those skills, and he's probably the best finisher on the team in front of the goal, to be honest. But then he does things that just make you scratch your head, right? He's not consistent on the defensive side. He likes to put his arms out in the box and get, penalties taken for us, right? And there's just so many negatives too that obviously Vargas doesn't offer, and that's why Vargas has earned that starting spot, is because we can count on him both sides of the ball every single game.
Yeah, I think maybe we mentioned here that Vargas did get some interest in the transfer window to be transferred out. I mean, obviously Vargas has outplayed Abada
Without a question,
hands down about that. But so, I mean, I think we got some options, we have some possibilities there, and maybe some flexibility. But it's great to have two really solid players in that right wing position.
Exactly. It's a good problem to have at the end. You'd rather have too many than not enough. So be interesting to see how it goes into next year. But yeah, like I said, I think that's definitely how it is for the rest of this year. And we'll just have to see how things fall out for the rest of this season. Anything else to add on that, guys? Are we all good?
Good.
I think we're good. All right.
Something to watch.
Something to watch for.
Stay
and
tuned.
Something else to watch for this next segment coming up next. All right. And with my not so subtle segue into the next segment here, as you guys already know, because you all watch it every week, it's Around the League next. So kind of jump right in. Won't touch on this for long, but thought it was worth noting. Last Wednesday, the Leagues Cup is still going on, by the way. I know we've kind of forgot about it and just buried that deep in the hatchet, but it is a competition that is still going on. Last week was the quarterfinals, and so the way that they had it formatted, it was, again, all four MLS teams playing against all four of the Mexican League, Liga MX's side, easy for me to say, Liga MX's side, right? And as it turned out, all four MLS teams advanced, so congrats to the league, I guess, there, right, overall. We don't necessarily care for all the teams that were in it,
Sure.
but at the same time, worth noting, I believe all of them were Orlando, Miami, LA Galaxy, who is in last place in the West, by the way. They are now in the Final Four here. And what's the team I'm forgetting? Seattle. It's Seattle. Yeah, Seattle. So
There's
congrats to
so
all
many
four
over
of those.
there.
Yep, congrats to all four of those teams. Great job making it to the Final Four, and at least guaranteeing the cup coming to the northern side of the border right there. So nice.
Did you know that no Liga MX East team has ever made it to the semifinals of the
I did
the Leagues
not
Cup?
know
I know
that.
it's just
So
it's
wow,
weird.
I should have given this one to you. Yeah, that's a great nugget there. Didn't know that, and it remains, even though they tried to format it to where that probably shouldn't have happened. But as it turns out, all four, 0-4.
the other thing is there's CONCACAF Champions League
correct
spots on the line
Yes.
for
So next
the
game's
winner
tonight's
and the
games,
third place game. as well.
Correct. Yeah. So the top three in that will get CONCACAF Champions League. I remember talking about that on the show previously. So obviously the games tonight are huge. If you win tonight, you guarantee your spot in the CONCACAF Champions League next year. So
Not necessary.
not necessarily.
Because you have to win
I
the
don't know
third
the
place
rules
game.
anyway. If you win tonight, though, you're definitely going to go in, right? Because then you'll be in the championship. Somebody that loses tonight's not guaranteed.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we're saying the same thing.
Yeah, see there.
But maybe that's what the Galaxy's playing for, because they're obviously not playing for the
100%,
MLS
yeah,
Cup. So
yeah.
obviously they're like, let's go for the Leagues Cup.
I'll be so kind of almost jealous or fuming if I watch LA Galaxy in that freaking competition next year, thinking like this team made it and we didn't. But It is what it is. Anyway, enough of Leagues Cup. On to the next one. So season, right? So we back to the MLS season. Huge week for Charlotte this week. We had a lot of good results. I don't know if this was good or bad, I guess, depending on how you look at it. But Cincinnati loses to NYCFC. A very familiar scoreline that we've seen recently: 0 Cincinnati, 1 NYCFC. So they take all 3 points in that one. Brian.
Yeah, a shocking result that New England Revolution beats Columbus Crew 2-1.
Huge.
New England, our next opponent as well.
Yeah.
But we did leapfrog Columbus in the standings, even though they have a game in hand. And then the next result, which was equally a shock, is DC United tie Inter Miami.
Crazy, right? So all of these are, of course, good things for Charlotte, which we'll talk about here in a second. But yeah, so Columbus losing, Miami obviously drawing.
Philadelphia Union ends up with 4, Chicago with the big nil. So
maybe not
that's not really
there,
surprising there. But obviously they scored goalless in that game.
Yeah.
And then a score I like is Nashville beat Orlando, our Notch friends to the south, 5-1. So Nashville, the good for us with the Orlando loss. Nashville, though, is kind of in it there, right there with us. So they get the 3 points. So
you guys think, maybe tired legs from the Leagues Cup? Because Miami drawing DC and then Nashville just pouring it on Orlando. Do you think maybe that had anything to do with it? Those are kind of some shocking results. Not that Nashville beat Orlando. That could easily happen. But to beat them by 4, and then obviously the DC, they're in last place and doing
Orlando's been so good, but we watched that match, and I mean, Nashville couldn't stop scoring.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
Orlando was not good.
Yeah, I don't know him. Who knows? But anyway, so that's kind of, wrap on the scores. Moving that over to the standings, of course, we'll always start with our lesser of the conferences for us, the Western, right? Not too many notes here today, guys, but did want to let everybody know congrats to San Diego, an expansion team, and also the first team to clinch a playoff spot. So they, of course, are in first place. Matter of fact, in the Supporter Shield, they're now in first place as well. Wow. So great job for San Diego. That is a huge accomplishment to be able to do that in your first season, to be the first team to clinch. And then, of course, the battle is really, not with them. It seems like they've kind of opened up a bit of a gap there. They could still, fall back to earth, I assume, but I don't think they will. The battle's for home field there, right? So there's 4 teams battling for three spots there. You got Minnesota, Vancouver, Seattle, and LAFC all kind of right there bunched together, as you will see on the standings here on the side of the screen. So interesting to see how that plays out. Obviously, I think home field advantage is a pretty big deal, something we know Charlotte's really going for. So interesting to see how that'll shake out. Amy, what do we think about
the
East?
better conference
Exactly.
of the two.
Yeah.
The one that really matters, where the real teams play football. Charlotte, where we thought we would never see the possibility of happening during the doldrums of May and June.
Yeah.
We're actually in 4th place now. So good to us. That would be a home playoff position if we stay in 4th or even get higher. So kudos to that.
I think two shows ago I said fourth place was out of hand.
Right.
2 shows ago, right? And yeah, it goes to show us. I remember specifically when I was talking with Gabby on the show, probably a month or a month and a half ago. Like, yeah, pipe dream for top 4, but maybe we can settle for 5th or 6th if we keep this run up. And here we are with still 6 games to play and already up to 4th. So.
Dreams do come true.
Darn right,
Dreams do come true, and we're living it right now. And we just want to keep on living that dream. However, even though we are in 4th, there are only 3 points that separate your 4th through 8th place team.
Yeah.
So you got a home field playoff game in 4th, but 6, 7, 8, you're in the playoffs, but you're not playing at home. And that's between Charlotte, Orlando, Miami, Columbus, and NYCFC. They're all 3 points within each other, battling through those 4th through 8th place playoff positions. That's hard to say.
Yeah, it's a lot of P's there. Yeah. We call that alliteration. She's the school teacher.
It is true.
Yeah.
Some of those teams have games in hand. I think Miami's got 3.
Yeah,
Columbus
NYCFC.
one, and NYCF.
Yeah.
So that doesn't guarantee they're going to leapfrog us, but there is that possibility.
Sure.
So
Yep.
it's a little
Thanks
bit
Just
hard
got to
to
keep
tell.
winning. Just got to keep winning. Yep, that's all
right.
that matters.
That's right. We can only take care of ourselves.
Reality.
Yep.
And in other standings news, Philadelphia takes the first ranked position over Cincinnati
Yep.
in the Supporter Shield as well as the Eastern Conference, and then DC United becomes the first team that is eliminated.
Dang.
Wah, wah.
Even on a draw to
Even on a
Miami.
draw to Miami. That sucks.
That's tough. Yeah, that's
a
tough.
hard loss to take.
Well,
DC
yeah.
is one of our remaining road games, so I'm not mad about it.
Yeah.
Hopefully they shut it down for the season.
Yeah, bring in some of their probably younger team or whatever, minor league. I don't whatever. I don't know what their Crown Legacy team is called, but some of those players
Probably
perhaps.
DC United too.
Yeah, that's most of them. So,
So, like,
not very
original.
not very original on the names, but cool. No, that's great. Obviously, those being in 4th is fantastic, right? But as I'll kind of mention here in a second, right, it is a very, very slippery slope from just we could be playing in a play-in game just as easy as we can be hosting right now, right? So it is a very close battle there. And I think it's such a close battle that we'll go ahead and get into it right now with the preview, everybody's favorite time, everybody's favorite segment, the one that started it all. Huge game this week, right? I say that every week, so take that with a grain of salt. But I really do mean it this week for the same reasons we just mentioned, right? I mean, we got to 4th. Everybody, the goal for the team, you hear Ashley Westwood, you hear Brett Bronico, all of them have said, we want to finish top 4, we want to finish top 4.
Right.
And so now that we're there, do they kind of take a deep breath and be content? Obviously,
No.
we hope not, right? Because there's still plenty of games to play, and they all said that, right? So I'm hoping they'll honor their word there and continue to play the way they have. But there's got to be a little bit of a relaxation there when we've done it, and so that's what makes this game. Dean Smith's job this week is going to be as hard as it's been, in my opinion, for the whole season, to make sure that he keeps them on their P's and Q's. Make sure this game is just as important as it was the one before to keep climbing the way that you have, right? So huge game. It's New England this week. So New England, we travel to New England, first road game in a bit as well. So another reason to kind of, really hone in on the training this week. So New England, they are sitting in 11th place. Of course, as we just mentioned, Charlotte in 4th. We lost to New England at the bank last time. Matter of fact, it was the first loss at the bank of the season, first loss in 6 games or 7 games or whatever at that time. 1-0 loss. It was just it was another one kind of like the New York Red Bull one last week when we were previewing it, right? We dominated possession, 56%. We had a 2.1 to 0.6 expected goals in that game that we won, right? So we were clearly, getting more of the opportunities. Their only goal in the 1-0 victory was Carlos Gil. He literally wasn't even shooting it. He was, kind of crossing it into the box, kind of confused everybody and just bounced into the back corner. And there you go, right? And that's really what kind of started the losing streak right there. So a lot of bad juju there that we need to get reversed. They play Route 1 football. That is the best way to describe New England. I went back, of course, I looked at my notes from the last game, and everything kind of holds true there, right? They are second to last in the league in expected goals. They don't create a lot of opportunities. What they do is created by mistakes by the other team, right? They're going to sit in. They're going to try to frustrate you because you're not able to, get through their, back 8, block of 8, whatever you want to call it there. And they're going to wait on you to make that mistake. And when you do, they're hitting it down the field, right? I mean, they were in the top 5 in long balls. And so, that is the way that they play football is, again, they're going to sit in, hope to not concede. They just added goalkeeper Matt Turner, by the way, as well during this transfer window. So I don't remember who their goalie was before, but I assume Turner's going to be a pretty big upgrade. Obviously, he is on the national team with Tim Ream and some of those boys. So they added him at the break. They just came off, as we said, a victory. Who did they just beat last week? We said Columbus, right, last week. So they're obviously, it's not going to be a rollover, right? They got to be able to show up. The keys to this game, I feel like I say this every week as well, but really and truly, right? Patience in the midfield, because the only way we lose this game is by turning it over right there at that midline. They get a run in behind us and have a free shot, right? That's how they're going to score goals in this game if they're going to. Our back line, the communication, the play, the passing that they have going back there, they can't beat that, right? So just keep the ball, no silly mistakes at the back. Any chances that you take need to come from the forwards, the Tokomatis of the world, right? But stay on the ball, stay patient, even if you're not getting a goal early. One will come, right? That's the way to look at it, and just that's kind of my keys to the game. So we'll pause it there because we do have actually a special segment coming up. So we'll stop there, and I will give you my predictions after the commercial break. We don't actually have them, but we'll pretend like there are. Sponsored by this lovely water from Nature's Promise. So that'll be our commercial break, and then we'll be right back with the next segment.
A few moments later.
All right, and back for our final, I guess we'll call segment, right? I usually just tie these together, but couldn't do that with our special guest that we see behind us here. So these are two of the four daughters that Brian and Amy have, of course. Caitlin and Maddie.
For the daughters.
Yeah, for the crown, for the daughters. Exactly. That's exactly what we're doing. So we wanted to, of course, include them, get their predictions, kind of get a couple of their favorite game day traditions as well. So just enjoying the fun, right? So I will start it out like I typically do with my prediction. Just got my keys to the game and kind of the preview. I'm sticking with a pretty familiar score line that I feel like I've been saying recently. So I'm going to go Charlotte 2, New England 0. Definitely went chalk with the goal scorers as well, right? So I'm going Toklamati. If he doesn't score in one game, he's going to score in the next one the way he's going right now. So I don't see him not scoring in this game. And, of course, Zaha. As you had mentioned, he really was the most influential player in that first half last game. He has really, with especially BL being out, even when BL was there, right, he has been so good over the last couple of months. I think it's a little bit underrated how good he has been. And so he's been a couple games now without a goal contribution. Time to see him get back on the score line. And like I said, I just don't see them doing much defensive or offensively, rather, that can really threaten us unless we make mistakes. So 2-0 is my score. Ryan?
Yeah, so I think this is going to be a battle of similar styles for this game. I think it's going to be low scoring. With Pep Biel out, we've been going more defensive. They're going to be more defensive. Their number one player that can hurt us is Carlos Hill. But I think we still keep the clean sheets going. I got us a 1-0 victory.
Okay, love another 1-0.
Yeah. Dino loves it as well. And I'm going to go – I feel like Liel Abada is going to come off the bench and score. He needs a goal. He's been playing very well. He's been bright when he's come on. I think he's going to score for us.
Do you think we should bring him on earlier? I mean, I just question there.
Yeah, I like to see Dean bring all of our subs in a little bit earlier.
Okay.
He's been bringing them in about the 70th minute for the first subs.
Or
I'd like
later.
to see it. Yeah, I'd like to see him maybe in the 60th minute. So give him a little bit of time to get integrated into the game. So that I think that would be one of my complaints with Dino and the substitution patterns. I'd like to see him come on earlier.
Okay. I thought the same thing, especially with him the last couple of weeks. It seems like he, barely gets in there and then game's over, right? And so he doesn't have a lot of time to acclimate, but that's part of being a sub. But yeah, just curious what you thought there. So 1-0 there for Brian. Amy?
All right, I'm going to go. Oh, we are playing on the road, so
that's true.
That's going to change I was going to say 3-0, but I'm going to go. Oh, heck, I'm going to stick with 3-0, even though we're on the road.
Stay with the chest.
Because I want us to just have that breakout game. I'm going to go with Zaha. I also think he's due. I think he'll get a goal. I'm going to keep on with Vargas. I think he's kind of in a good little streak now, and he seems to be finding the back of the net. And then I'm just going to go and hope that Archie comes in at the end of the game and makes a difference and shows us the ability he has to put that ball in the back of the net. So I'm going to go 3-0, Archie, Zaha, and Vargas.
Perfect. I love that. And so, again, what I wanted to kind of bring as well. So those are our three. So we got a 2-0, we have a 1-0, and we have a 3-0. We know they're not scoring. Go ahead and take that to the bank or to the sports book if you're into that kind of thing. No goal scored against us is the bet for this week. Now, like I said, I want to pass it off. So, of course, behind us, like I said, we have Caitlin and Maddie. I guess Caitlin, if you want to start us off, give me your favorite game day tradition. What's that?
Okay, I'm gonna have to go with Peppa's because just over the years, seeing how Peppa's have grown over the whole stadium, starting at the first year with just the our side of the stadium, and then now getting in here and just seeing the whole stadium do it, and just getting so electric, and then seeing new teams, new fans, and bringing new people to the games,
Absolutely.
and just seeing how they take on the Peppas and teams being intimidated by it. I just think that would have to be my favorite.
I thought your favorite was Snail. I thought that was your favorite game day tradition. No, inside joke there.
He's the biggest piece of shit I've ever met in my life, and I've met some big pieces of shit in life and in a toilet.
What about your favorite player or favorite players, I think?
My favorite players would have to be Brandon Cambridge and then Pep Biel. Going with Brandon Cambridge, even though he doesn't get much playing time, I would have to say that he's just an amazing player on and off the field. Off the field, appreciating the fans so much means a lot. And then on the field, even not getting a lot of playing time, just seeing him. And I just feel like he gives so much goal contributions, whether that's a goal or an assist. And then with Pep Biel, I don't think I really have to explain him very much.
No, he does work for you there.
With his assists and his goals, he's just an amazing player. He's someone I look up to play with soccer. So those are my two.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, we went super hipster and went with the Crown Legacy. I love that. I mean, and it goes to show, right? I mean, they go to a lot of the Crown Legacy games, what the impact those guys can do, and like I said, for a pretty affordable. Not that I'm paid by Crown Legacy or anything, but yeah, great game to go to, and obviously we have some great talent there that is impacting everybody around us. So that's great. I appreciate that. And Maddie, on you, what do you think? So kind of same thing. What's your favorite game day tradition? Is it kind of
My favorite game day tradition is Peppa's because I like seeing
Popular
the
choice.
supporters section and how they get onto Peppa's and all the other fans.
Absolutely.
It's been called the best tradition in soccer.
I mean, and it stands. So
commentators have talked about it.
We have all of the new generation agreeing with us, so definitely Peppa's is the number one game tradition as we figured out. What about your favorite player?
My favorite player is Malanda because he's so good with the ball.
Yes.
Such a really good defender, and he's really nice. When we go to Crown Legacy games, he's super nice to talk to and stuff.
So approachable even at the games. That's amazing. We all love Malanda. Hate to see that he's leaving after the season, but obviously leaving an impact on everybody. So then if I can get both of you guys, I mean, we just did our predictions. What do you guys think? I don't care who starts, but yeah, whoever.
Okay. So I think Mom might have had copied my tradition, or not tradition, my prediction, because I also had 3-0.
Going with your notes.
Going with the Vargas goal and the Toklamati goal.
I didn't call it.
But I am going with the Zaha goal as well.
Okay.
So.
Love that. So 3-0 there. And then last but not least, let's go, Maddie. What do you think?
I'm going 5-0.
Woo! Take that one to the bank. And who scored?
Vargas, Toklamati, Zaha, and Archie and Cambridge.
Oh, we're bringing in. Right. So we're bringing in her favorite player to score one. We're bringing in the new favorite, Mr. Archie Goodwin, right? So if that one hits, like I said, I'm going to have to go put that one in the sports book and see what that pays out. So different story, different day. But yeah, I think that's it. Anything else you guys wanted to add? How handsome I look or nothing like that? No? Okay. Well, hey, thank you guys for joining. Appreciate it as always. Same to you guys. Thank you for having me. Guys, thank you for watching as you always do. If you haven't already, please go like and subscribe. It obviously helps, and we love that. So another episode wrapped up. Looking for 3 more points this coming Saturday. It is Saturday again this week, so they're not messing with us yet. Saturday night again, 7:30. Be there. Watch us shut out New England for our 8th straight victory.
And another Kahlina sheet.
And another Kahlina sheet. I got to
Let's
get that printed on a
go.
t-shirt or something here soon for sure. So appreciate it as always for the
For the
crown.
week.
There we go.